going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel, and today we're going to be reviewing Port Adelaide's round 10 clash against the Hawks. Unfortunately, we didn't get the job done, going down to the Hawks by 31 points in what was a pretty disappointing display, to be honest. It wasn't one of our best games for the season, and certainly we're going to go back to the drawing board because certain things aren't working at the moment, and we're just basically outplayed and outcoached against what was a very well-managed and well-driven Hawthorn team that absolutely dominated. So let's get straight into this review and see what went wrong for the Power.
Adelaide on the other side of the field. They're about 100 metres away from where the footy is.
They were almost enticing Westhoff to try that kick to Broadbent. He got it there. Robbie Gray back inside to Jonas, and it opens up the corridor. Burn-Jones could have gone long over the back. Ryder now sees he's got an option over the back. Puts it in the rosy direction. Got there. Turns inside, handed it off. Huge kick for Amon and for Port Adelaide and this game.
All I have to say about yesterday's game is wake up, Port. It's like in the Wiggles when you say, wake up, Jeff.
Wake up, Jeff.
And Jeff wakes up. But we say it, and Port simply don't do that. It's happened for the last few weeks now. Our starts have been quite deplorable. Bar a couple of games, they've actually been pretty shit since round one. And, you look back, Melbourne, we got off to a slow start. They kicked 3 goals in a row, and signs were ominous then. Carlton, we didn't get off to the great start. Brisbane, they kicked 5 goals to nothing. Then you got Richmond, same thing happened. West Coast was a good start. North Melbourne was a pretty good start. And then we played Collingwood, we didn't score a goal. Adelaide, we didn't score a goal. Gold Coast, we were trailing at quarter time as well. And now we didn't score a goal against... We actually didn't score anything in the first quarter against the Hawthorn. And what goes wrong? I think there's been a couple of performances where you say purely player-based. Our skill level was shocking. We didn't execute. Yesterday was very much a coaching masterclass by Alistair Clarkson, and Ken Hinkley has got some work to do because the way we played yesterday in the conditions that we had in Launceston, they're not the conditions that suit our game style. And the same thing happened against Gold Coast. We played the same game style. It didn't work. When we reverted back to playing smart, wet weather footy in the second half, and it worked. Just get the ball in, get into your territory and keep the ball in. Eventually, you'll score, and that's what happened against Gold Coast. Didn't happen against Hawthorn, and now it didn't happen against Adelaide. We waited to the last quarter to wake up and play some decent footy. Collingwood, there was a patch there, but it's just not working at the moment, whatever he's doing to get the players up. And he said in the press conference that they're not going to change the way they prepare for games because they'll keep doing the same thing. It's not working. And when you get to that point, you've really got to question the motivation that you're bringing as a coach to the playing group, because that's one of the key things when you're a player is that you look to your coach for a bit of motivation, a bit of edge as you go into the game, and it's not working. And at the moment, our starts are costing us our season, and if we keep doing that, we're not going to be playing finals. The next week against St Kilda in Shanghai is a must-win game, and if we start slowly, St Kilda will be all over us. So a lot of work has to be done. We've got the cavalry, we've got the playing group, we've got the players and all that, the star factor, but it's up here that we don't have. And if that keeps going, then we're toast. Well, speaking of talking about up here, in the mine, our turnovers are I excuse the language, but honestly, it's deplorable how we have to continually watch what we deliver on field. Insipid turnovers, insipid ball use. We aren't smart with the footy. We just go and hope for the best. It's not football. Now, Robbie Gray and Travis Blake played pretty good games yesterday. I won't lie. Their ineffectiveness with the ball was pretty poor. 48% and 42% disposal efficiency for each of them. And when you've got players like that, like their caliber, not hitting targets and not using the ball to their advantage, they're getting a lot of the footy but not using it. That's saying something. If they were having 70% efficiency with 26 disposals and 27 disposals like Robbie Gray had, then okay, I can work with that. 70%, most of the time it's hitting the target. We're actually getting some ball inside 50. We had 23 inside 50s at one stage for nothing, I think. 1 or 2 goals. So, in saying that, though, Hawthorn were cunning. They were very smart with the footy. They used it to their advantage, and I think that's got a bit of something to do with playing in Launceston. They just know the ground so well. They've won 33 of their past 37 games down there. It's like playing in Geelong. They very rarely lose, and it's very hard to play in those types of conditions that are sort of unknown, and you've got a team that plays there quite regularly, and they just know what they're doing down there, and I think that had something to do with it as well. We just couldn't play the ground to our advantage at all, and it just didn't suit us as a team. I did say that Clarkson outcoached Ken Hinkley before. We'll touch on that a bit more. Just the smartness of how Hawthorn shifted their team defence while Port was going. Port are too slow for the switch. I will say that now. Every time we try and switch the footy, we're too slow. They're already set up by the time we've got it in our mind that we're going to go. It's happened every game. So Tom Cleary will back up, Broadbent will back up and switch across. By the time the ball gets to the other side of the ground, their team defence has already switched over. And that's not effective. That's not how you use the footy, and that's not how you play. You go direct. You go either go down the line, create a contest, or go through the middle. Pick out the short options and move it up the ground. Certain teams do that really well, and it looks great to watch. For us, it's a debacle. We suck playing in Launceston, though. I did touch on how Hawthorn are very effective down there. We haven't won a game since 2007 in Launceston. We continually get put down there each and every year. We continually get smashed. Last year we choked, or robbed as well from 50-metre penalties. This year we just didn't even turn up. And as a team that I suspect should be in the top 8, and not top 4, not in that calibre yet, especially with the backward step we've taken with, developing some kids and really trying to, bring that youngness back in, a bit of energy, which we'll get there. But I think, as a team that should be in that 5th to 8th position, I'm just not playing like it at the moment. We're actually in a worse spot than we were in 2017, I think. And 5-5 is a very difficult spot to be. And I just think, with teams like Hawthorn, teams like Essendon, who are just a little bit more competitive than what we are, we're not going to find ourselves in finals if we continually shoot ourselves in the foot with disposal efficiency being below par, the way we're playing and the way we're moving the footy. And I think, too many injuries, is an excuse. I'll wear that, but at the same time, you put the players on the park, and if they're not performing, then you got to start to question our depth. I wanted to touch on Billy Frampton as well. Now, we all rejoiced when he was selected in the team last week. He kicked 3 goals against a Gold Coast side that wasn't, the most experienced, and we thought, here we go, we finally got a key forward. Comes out against Hawthorn, gives 4 frees against, was nowhere to be seen, didn't take a single mark on the day. He was played on by Sicily, who's one of the gun defenders in the league. It just shows that he's just, I'm not going to say overrated, because that's a big call. I will say that he's just not quite there yet. We haven't got another option. People have been calling for it. He's been dominating the sample, and he definitely deserves his spot. But he just isn't quite there. And he has been known, he has a tendency to give away a few free kicks, but he's just not as smart enough to play in an AFL squad yet, because he's playing a lot behind the footy. There's a lot smarter defenders in the AFL, and it's just, he's working on his forward craft. He'll get there, but I think just at the moment, not quite there. And finally, the Rockcliffe injury is a bit of a sting to what was a pretty deplorable day. Who knows how long he'll miss. Do have a couple of players in the SANFL that can come back and replace him. I suspect Willem Drew will come back in, been fantastic and has been good for the Maggies side as of late. So you'll see Drew come in if Rockcliffe does miss. But we'll turn to the votes, because this is all what we look forward to. The pair votes for round 10. I'll give 1 vote to Carl Amon. Thought his game was actually really good. His pressure around the footy, his great tackling ability, and his chase and his speed was really helpful yesterday. 20 disposals at 70% efficiency. Kicked a goal as well. And it's something we've lacked. And I think, people criticise Carl Amon for his inability and his poor ball use and all that. He deserves his spot. And I think, for him to be called as, to be dropped, it's just not warranted. And I think he'll keep his spot for quite a while now, because he's been performing really well. The last couple of weeks have been really solid. 2 votes goes to Dursma on the other wing, who was absolutely amazing. 22 disposals, 1 goal, He just used the ball so well, and his run and his pace. Carl Amon and Dersma, I can see as a future wing combination. They just drive the ball well, quite dynamic with a left and right foot differences, and I think those two will be they're very capable of taking the game on and being used as a risk factor, this is what we want as a side. We're quite daring when we do move the footy, and they were both involved in a passage of play yesterday that just really worked. 3 votes goes to Darcy Byrne-Jones, best on ground, 28 disposals, 8 marks, 6 tackles. Him and Broadbent were really good down back and did drive the footy. I just thought GBJ deserved 3 votes because a lot of people again have been criticised his game early on in the year, but he's really turned it on of late, and his ability to run and use the ball so well is what's keeping us going and keeping us in games from defence. So there you have it, Port fans. Let me know in the comments below what your take of this game was. It was quite disinteresting to watch, really, but it's a game we'll forget about. Move on to next week. 5-5, big game. We've got to win before we go into the bye. So I don't know what to make of Port at the moment. It's very, very, very disappointing. Thank you for watching, Port fans. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide content. And my name's Anthony, and as always, can't pair.